Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about why Vivek Ramaswamy is a much better candidate for the Republican Party than Donald Trump. All right, so let's dig into this. Okay, so I did not know this. Take a guess how old Vivek Ramaswamy is. This is going to blow your mind. He is 37 years old. What? So I think one of the best reasons why, I think the number one reason why Vivek Ramaswamy is a better candidate than Donald Trump is because of the age issue and specifically an inversion of the age problem. All right. So President Donald Trump, if he is elected for a second term, he will be our second 80-year-old president. We already have an 80-year-old president. It's President Joseph Biden. Now, President Joseph Biden wasn't just our first 80-year-old president, octogenarian president. It was an experiment. It had literally never been done before. People were like, "Wait a second, we retire at 65 in America, so why would anybody take a job 15 years after retirement, and not just any job, but literally the hardest job, not in America, but literally in the world, right? Like, even running for president." Bernie Sanders said flat out that it was the run gave him a heart attack. Just the run, and he wasn't like, "Oh, I think it might have contributed." He was like, "Yeah, I wasn't watching my body, caught up to me, I had a heart attack," right? And also, if you watch President Obama, man, you can see him aging in real time over the 8 years he was in president. And get this, right? The time that President Donald Trump will be president, it will not be the most stressful time in American history, in the history of America. It will be an unprecedented stress, crucible. We're literally under nuclear threat right now, right? So from Vladimir Putin. So this will be incredibly difficult, right? So basically, President Donald Trump, if he gets elected, he becomes our second 80-year-old president. We already know how that experiment is working, right? President Biden has been under incredible strain, and President Biden is a charismatic, confident, and intelligent human being. To tell the truth, a lot of people, throw names at our presidential candidates and say harsh things about our presidential candidates. But the reality is, President Biden is very charismatic, very confident, and very intelligent. But one thing we've seen is that his age has stopped him from bringing all of his charisma, all of his confidence, and very much all of his intelligence. He often forgets things that are embarrassing for him. We feel bad for him, right? Are embarrassing for us as a nation, right? Our leaders should be able to remember basic facts, right? And frequently he forgets, and it's not his fault. It's simply age. We ran this experiment. It was, I think, Americans have a right to do what they wish with their elected leaders, and we ran this experiment. It didn't work, right? And so the reality is, it's not going to work with President Donald Trump either. He's not going to be able to bring all of his charisma. Get this, he is going to be able to bring all of his confidence. He's a very unique human being, but he is not going to be able to bring all of his intelligence. We know that. We now know the results of this experiment, that running an 80-year-old president doesn't work, and it doesn't have anything to do with President Biden. It doesn't have to do anything with President Donald Trump. It's just simply 80 years old is too old to have the hardest job in the world, right? And so I think that's very simple. Vivek Ramaswamy, he is going to be able to bring all of his confidence, all of his charisma, all of his intelligence, because he's not going to be losing it at the age of 37, right? And that's not just me saying that. That's a scientific fact. We lose functioning as we age. And that functioning we start to lose that at least age 70, right? In 80, it's not even debatable. We are losing functioning based on just pure biology, right? And so, we don't really need to, nobody needs a report. We're seeing it in real time with President Joseph Biden, right? We know he wants to do the best job he can for us, but he can't. His age has, the experiment's been run. We've seen the evidence in real time, right? It doesn't work, right? Whereas Vivek Ramaswamy is young, super intelligent, super charismatic, super confident, and he is a far better candidate for president than for the U.S. president, right? We don't have to worry about him, someone for like if an 80-year-old president passes away, no one's like, what happened? Like, we're all like, oh yeah, like we ran that experiment. We now know what can happen, right? Like, whereas he is absolutely going to be, ready to go, and we'll get all of him. We'll get his best, right? Rather than the trailing remains, right? And so I really think Vivek Ramaswamy is a fantastically much better candidate for president than Donald Trump. And I think he should have your vote over Donald Trump, in my humble opinion. And that's just one reason, but it's a very significant reason. That's my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.